So we welcome this recognition, the recognition of the light of being shining through us, shining through every body mind. We welcome it, we recognize it, and we invite it. We invite ourselves to this recognition. It is via this recognition that I meet you as myself. That I meet everyone and everything as myself. Without any personal conditions. This tenderness resides deeply within our being. Which we refer to as the heart. The loving heart. That recognizes humanity, humanness, to be God's reflection within body minds. One of the infinite reflections, the infinite spectrum of light that resides within the white light. So we let go of any belief, of all beliefs. And we meet each other as one, never leaving each other. A oneness that has no parts within it. A castle without any separate rooms and doors. Our true humanity resides in our divinity. The reality of our humanity is our divinity. Well, if you would like to share anything or explore any question, anything that you would like to look into, please make sure you unmute your mic, and you're welcome to turn on your video so we can see each other. So any questions or
just a deep feeling of gratitude and really delicious. And then the slight doubt if this is again the me that slips in to express the gratitude.
Well, what we are expressing when we are expressing gratitude or expressing our understanding or expressing the love that we feel, that which we are expressing is actually beyond words. But in the expression, there are words, but it's very clear that that which is being expressed is not the words. And when an expression is arising from love, from gratitude, from a sentiment of love, it's very beautiful. And in terms of, is it arising from the personal self? There is no personal self. But having said that, sometimes we're expressing something because we want a certain response, or we want a recognition, or we want a certain reaction. And in that situation, the expression is not truly an expression of gratitude or of love. It's an expression that is looking for something. And we have the capacity to sense that within ourselves. And of course, we have also the capacity to perceive it when we hear it. Sometimes we're not interested in perceiving it. So so you can sense within yourself when you're expressing whatever you're expressing, whether there is something you're looking for. In this case, I just felt love, so.
Me too, yes. It's wonderful. I mean, there's really a physical presence, response. I mean, I don't want to cling on anything. I mean, I know it's just a perfume, so I don't want to make sense out of it. I don't want to put a label on it or something, but it's just so wonderful, so sweet.
Yes. So that's not so much putting a label, it's like saying, wow, that was a really nice dinner, thank you. I mean, by the way, the gratitude is a shared gratitude. I just, so to put it in words, I'm feeling you understand that, but just to say that also, it's a shared gratitude. I mean, we are all grateful to be together and share together whatever we're sharing, because we're sharing in a meeting of love, of openness, of sympathy, of caring, of listening.
I just feel so humbled because it is so simple.
Right. It's the mind that is complicated.
and I suffered so much. I mean, my whole life with frustration, depression, resistance, and then to see how easy it is, how effortless.
Yes.
What did I do to myself? I mean, but I cannot blame myself. It just was what it was.
Yeah, it's part of the journey, you know. We all know that. Sooner or later, we come to the peace, and it's just, and the peace of being isn't not a peace that depends on. And in a way, here we are in satsang, in meeting together, but the peace that we are sensing is not the peace of the meeting, it's the peace of our true nature, the peace of our being, our shared being. And doesn't matter if we are celebrating this love in this here together or anywhere. It doesn't matter. It's within us. It's that which we are. We are this presence, this transparency, this effortless presence, this infinite invisible reality of consciousness. The recognition of that it's a sweet recognition, because it's a recognition of the absolute qualities of love and happiness and joy.
And without getting lost, we never could have become aware of it again.
We don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. It seems like that, but I'm wary of the mind laying some, it could be, who knows. God is infinite possibilities, infinite creativity, infinite potential. You cannot pin it down, you cannot pin. But yes, I recognize what you say.
Hello.
Hello, Anna.
Hi. So you've talked about this before, and I want you to talk about it again today. I've been noticing like the tendency to try to control like what's outside of me and what's inside of me. Yeah, like that it's very important.
Yes. So when you say outside of me or inside of me, what is this, the me that when you say outside of me, what exactly are you talking about in your experience?
So outside of the body.
Oh, outside of the body, yes. So one could say that there is a realm of outside the body. But for a moment, imagine that there is the thought of outside. Doesn't exist. Somehow there was a bolt of lightning and it affected your brain so that your concept of outside has been erased. Just playing with it right now. Imagine that there isn't a concept of outside. So without the concept of outside, or the thought of outside, like a 1-year-old baby or 9-month-old baby has it hasn't yet learned outside, not yet. So go to your experience right now. Is there an outside?
No.
What makes something in your experience to be outside of your body, outside of a thought that says this is outside of my body, and a feeling that says this is outside of my body? In other words, in the absence of the thought that says this computer is outside of my body, and the feeling that this computer is outside of my body, do you experience a computer outside of your body?
No.
Outside of the concept of your body, that the body is, I don't know, whatever image you have of your body. In the absence of an image that says your body is such and such, is it your experience of something inside or outside of your body? Could be that your body is a conceptual and a feeling construct. And I'm not criticizing that. I'm not being judgmental about that. I'm just exploring the possibility that there is a conceptual construct, and one could also say a sensory construct that we refer to as the body, which has its place, because this is how you're able to walk through an open door without banging into the wall. There is a function, I mean, obviously a functional aspect to that sensory and conceptual construct of the body, yes?
Yeah, it just feels solid. It feels solid.
Yeah, so when you say it feels solid, what you are sharing is that you are perceiving a feeling which you are calling solid, right? You're perceiving something. You're perceiving something, and then the way you're expressing that which you are perceiving is, it feels solid. So, I'm not questioning your feeling. I'm just saying that obviously you're perceiving a feeling of solidity, yes? Or bodily solidity, yes? Are you with me?
Yeah, I nodded, sorry.
You're perceiving a sensation of bodily solidity.
Yeah.
Now, the fact that you are perceiving a sensation of bodily solidity does not mean that you, that which perceives this feeling, is solid.
Yeah.
That you're perceiving a sensation, a feeling of bodily solidity does not mean that this feeling or that which you perceive defines you, which is that which perceives the feeling. You follow?
Yes.
So I could perceive a mountain made out of granite, and I could perceive a feather floating through the air. The fact that I'm perceiving a granite mountain and I'm feeling, oh wow, that is solid. And on the other hand, I'm perceiving a feather that's floating in the air. Wow, that's so light. Doesn't define in any way that which perceives the eye. Doesn't make me, perceiving granite mountain doesn't make me solidity, doesn't give me solidity. And perceiving a feather doesn't give me lightness or legerity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so you perceive and you feel solidity, the solid body. And you feel that there is an inside and an outside to your body. Now, do the following. If you can open your eyes and you're looking at a screen, okay? Or you turn your attention to any object. Let's see if there is an object on your desk. I'm looking at the screen, so I say, okay, we're gonna do this together. I'm gonna say, this screen is outside of me, or this computer, this laptop is outside of me. I'm gonna go to that feeling, it's outside of me. I am here, and the screen is out there. And then I'm going to switch to this screen is inside of me. Then we're gonna go again to the screen is outside of me. And the screen is inside of me. And again, the screen is outside of me. Inside of me. Do that for a little while. Until you sort of lose track of which is outside, which is inside. Did I say outside or inside? And try to get a sense, a feeling of that it's outside of me and then it's inside of me. Also, you could explore the me. And say, I am inside my body. And then you can go to my body is inside or appears to me. I appear in my body. My body appears in me. I appear in my body. My body appears in me. You can also contemplate that you perceive your body. You never perceive anything inside of your body except if you're a doctor and they use those tools, where you can go inside the body with a probe and you can look inside the body. They do lots of surgical procedures this way. So I perceive my body. I do not perceive inside my body. So when I say something is inside my body, I'm not basing this statement upon my experience, because I cannot see inside my body. So when I say, oh, this is something is inside my body, we're just talking about a thought. There is a thought. A thought is saying, ... is inside my body, or it's appearing inside my body. Because without that thought that says ... is appearing inside my body, you couldn't say these words. So it's a thought that is appearing to you. But you do not need to believe the thought that appears to you, because the thought that appears to you is not knowing. It's a neutral event. It has no knowingness within it.
Can you say more about that? Like that it has no knowingness within it?
Well, you could consider that a thought is a vibrational field, synaptic process within the brain. What is it that this vibrational field or synaptic process know? There's only one. Knowingness belongs to it only belongs to I. There is no other candidate for knowingness. The brain does not know. That's an assumption. That's a belief that a brain knows, or some part of the gray matter the brain knows. That's a presumption. We have ample evidence that I know. That which knows is I know. That knowingness belongs to I consciousness, I presence, I awareness. A thought is an arising. It exists out of consciousness, within consciousness, and is known by consciousness. It is an arising. Like in your night dream, all sorts of thoughts arise to you. They don't know you. They don't have any there is no knowingness within a thought. The thought is a neutral event. Like the wind, like the sunshine, like the heartbeat. It is an event, it's an object, a subtle object which you perceive, right?
Mm-hmm.
That which you perceive doesn't know. It is that which perceives that knows. Right?
I don't know.
That
Yeah.
which perceives. I know, I perceive, and I know I am, and I know that I know. It all refers to I consciousness. It's not a thought that is speaking. One could say a thought is being spoken, but it is not a thought that is speaking, it is I that speaks. Via the body-mind, via the tongue, the sounds, via the organism. There's an organism. I speak words. Instrument. I can say zuzu, I can say hello. It is not the lips, the tongue, the throat, the vocal cords, the synaptic activities in the brain or the pumping of the heart that is speaking. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
So a thought is spoken. A thought is it's exactly similar to this.
So, like the thought that says, this feeling is inside my body.
This feeling appears to you. You perceive the feeling. You don't perceive anything inside your body. You perceive a thought that says, this feeling is inside my body.
Yeah.
You perceive the thought in the same way that you perceive a feeling. It arises within awareness. A thought is more fleeting than a feeling because a feeling has a longer echo. It's like a toothache lasts much longer than a mosquito bite. So the thought is a mosquito bite, the toothache is the feeling. Playing and playing. So a thought is more fleeting. It dissolves. It's like cotton candy. But the feeling is like a chocolate cake. But they're both appearances. They both appear to you. You perceive the thought, I love my mother. What a beautiful day. Nice dinner I had last night. And you perceive the feeling. You perceive the thought and the feeling in the same spaciousness of awareness, the same space, so to speak. Like you're perceiving this perception right now. You're perceiving this perception in the same place. Okay, it's not the right word, but in the same place. Then you perceive the thought or the feeling within awareness, as awareness. It's not like there's an object that appears in awareness. Oh, here is the object. No, it's just awareness taking on the form of this perception, taking on the form of a thought, taking on the form of a sensation, taking on the form of a feeling, taking on the form of a thought that says, oh, this is happening inside my body. But there is wisdom. There's wisdom. The wisdom says, wait a minute, I cannot see inside my body. How do I know this feeling is arising inside my body outside of the thought that is saying, hey, Amna, excuse me, this is happening inside your body. Yes, the thought is saying, believe me, believe me, believe me, believe me, it is happening inside your body. Say, okay, fine, stop bugging me. All right, it's happening inside my body. So what? Okay, you're happy now? Right? But inside the body is just a thought. That we choose to believe. I mean, we are free, you see, to believe thought. Thought can say, thought say a million things. Actually, thought does say a million things. Thoughts are random. There are a lot of thoughts, right? But our experience is an experience of awareness, of presence, of knowingness, beingness. Not our experience is not an experience of I am an object. That's not our experience. There may be a thought I am an object, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about our experience. This moment, our experience is not an experience of I am an object. She is an object. He is an object. That's not my experience. My experience is awareness. You follow?
Not completely. So could you go back to that? Like, so my...
Right now, describe to me your experience.
Okay, so I feel sensations.
Okay, let me interrupt, sorry. Can you describe to me your experience without describing to me its content? It's a more challenging question.
Ask me again, please.
Can you describe your experience without making reference to its content?
Okay. So I am aware.
I think so. That's also my experience is I am. It's almost non-verbal, actually. I wouldn't almost non-verbal. It is non-verbal, but because we're speaking, I say, yes, I am. And then we can say, oh, I perceive a sensation. I perceive Amna. I perceive a feeling. I perceive memory of breakfast this morning. I perceive the herd, my herd of pink flying elephants. I perceive whatever. So your experience, before we refer to its content, is I am. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when the content arises, does the I am disappear?
No.
I am still there. Otherwise, how could you perceive anything? So I am, meaning awareness, is our experience before any arising and as well as during any arising. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
So awareness is our experience in the absence of objects, what we refer to as objects, as well as in the presence of objects, what we refer to as objects. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
And because your experience is the experience of awareness in the absence as well as in the presence of objects, it is not the objects that are real, it is awareness that is real. Because it doesn't come and go. Yes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So reality is in our experience, I'm talking about our experience. The reality of our experience, or we experience reality as consciousness. The reality of consciousness. That's our experience. Our experience is the experience of the reality of consciousness, which is not an object. I mean, yes, we do also perceive objects. We see those glasses. But the experience of awareness, the reality of consciousness, is not the experience of an object, yes? It's different from the feeling, from the experience of a feeling or a memory or a hunger or a desire or whatever, yes?
Mm-hmm.
So our experience is that of awareness, but it's formless, it's shapeless, it's non-phenomenal. You cannot knock on consciousness like you knock on the door. You don't experience consciousness as you experience hunger. Your experience of consciousness is noumenal, non-phenomenal, which we refer to as I am, as I. And another way of referring to the experience of consciousness without form is peace and happiness. Peace and happiness. The peace of being, the joy of being. Which doesn't prevent you from enjoying a chocolate cake. Or the company of a friend. Actually, it makes it more pleasant. It doesn't make happiness more pleasant. It makes the life experiences more pleasant. Because we already are happy. We are not seeking happiness in a relationship. We're not seeking happiness. We're celebrating our innate happiness in a relationship, in having a nice meal and going for a walk and listening to music and contemplating being and experiencing whatever we experience without any seeking. So we're not seeking a better experience. We may enjoy improving our experience, but our happiness doesn't depend on it. So if you are happier living in the country instead of living in the city, you explore whatever possibilities you have to move to the countryside by a lake or by a mountain or by the ocean, I don't know. But your happiness doesn't depend on it. You may end up by a beautiful lake, or you may end up in downtown Boston. I don't know. Who knows? But your happiness is not at stake.
And like what you said before, awareness is not interested in controlling or manipulating the content.
You know, the way consciousness manipulates the content is it doesn't create it. Whatever it doesn't want to create, it doesn't create.
So if it's in, so if I'm interested in something, I'll keep creating.
Yeah, well, yes. I mean, we have an interest. It depends what is our interest. Sometimes we're interested in our story, or we're interested in revisiting or rehashing or blame. Yeah, it depends. We don't do things because we're not interested in them.
So when you were talking earlier, like about, like I am, like I was following you, and then at one point something just went like, I don't know.
I can't guess what you mean by.
Like I was following you, and then there was like fear or something, and then like thoughts of something else came.
You said there was fear. You said.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, yes. Because we're talking about not being anybody. We're talking about being presence, which is our true nature. So we have within our body mind a lot of mechanisms that are operating, that are saying, I am I am this, I am that, I like this, I don't like that. I mean, I have my friends, my interests, my passions, my hobbies, my family, my culture. And we're talking about presence that doesn't give a hoot about that stuff. It has no issue with the stuff, but doesn't give a hoot about that stuff. So when you get close to that understanding, in a way, you are threatening, which doesn't really make sense because there is no threat, but it feels like you're threatening your existence as Amna. And so there can be fear, and one of the way to deal with fear is where I can escape into other thoughts. Let me, you know, what do you say, the sling, and then when you let go of the sling, I'm gone. But you see, this threat to Amna is not really threat, because Amna, with her life and her emotions and her interests and her passions and all of that is God's creation. It's only God's will. If God wants to terminate or change the story, she will. And if she's interested in keeping it, she'll keep it. And it seems that right now she's still interested in keeping it. So there is still an Amna and a Magdi and a Holger and a Rose.
Keep it in the sense of like being alive, breathing, or keeping it in the sense of believing that?
No, keeping it in terms that there is an experience that I refer to as Magdi. There's an experience that I refer to as Amna. Keeping it means it's still going on right now. It may not go on the next second, I don't know. because I don't have a crystal ball to tell you what's the next second. I don't have a crystal ball. At least this body mind doesn't. So keeping it, I'm not talking about time. I'm talking, it's still going on. It's right now, there is Amna, right? So when I say Amna, you hear Amna. I mean, Holger doesn't answer yes. No, Holger answers when I say Holger. So there's still Amna in this moment as an experience, as an arising, as a manifestation, as an existence. So I was talking about the threat, the sense of the fear. You mentioned fear, that, oh my God, what happened to me? Nothing happens to you, because what you are as a manifestation is consciousness creating this. So, in other words, another way of saying it is, my experience of Magdi right now is experience of consciousness creating and perceiving Magdi in this moment. Whether it is creating Magdi this moment as an image, because I can have an image of Magdi right now. So then in this moment, consciousness is creating an image of Magdi. And consciousness perceives it, because that which perceives is consciousness. Awareness perceives. A body doesn't perceive. The eye does not perceive. The nose does not smell. There are instruments, body-mind instruments. That which perceives is beyond the instrument. Like the astronaut, the bird watcher, like the bird watcher, uses binoculars to watch the birds, but the binoculars do not see the birds. The bird watcher sees the birds. So the Magdi is arising an experience moment by moment, which is an expression of consciousness's freedom to create an experience. And it's also that same consciousness that's exerting that same freedom in creating the body-mind of Esther, George, Holger, etc. It's the freedom of creation and experience of consciousness. There is nothing at stake for consciousness. Nothing at stake for consciousness. Because consciousness is the cook in the kitchen. She cooks all the meals. There's nothing. So if she cooks lentil soup or if she cooks minestrone soup, the lentil soup is going to be afraid, oh my God, is the cook going to cook lentil today, or is that cook going to cook minestrone? I hope and pray that she cooks lentil. This is what the lentil soup is saying. I hope and pray that she cooks lentil every day, because what? Because I am lentils. It's silly. Of course you are not lentils. You are the cook. Lentil is a creation of the cook. The cook creates the lentil, cooks the lentil.
So to not believe that fear.
The what?
To not believe that fear.
To understand. You cannot believe. You cannot choose to believe or not believe the fear. The fear is what it is. When it arises, it arises. But when you understand that you are the cook, you are not that which is created, that you are the creator, that understanding will relieve the fear. You need to contemplate this understanding. Forget about believing or not believing the fear, because if you fear, there is fear, there is fear. Whatever.
So so I am the one that perceives, not the one that's being perceived.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You are not that. Okay, you said I'm not the one being perceived. Hold on. Let me put it another way. You are that which perceives. You are not that, whatever it is, that is that is perceived. Your perception, if you look at your perception or your experience, you perceive thoughts, images, memories, right? Which we refer to as mind. You perceive objects, which we refer to as the world. And you perceive sensations, which we refer to as the body. Your perceptions are limited to that. You perceive thoughts, sensations, and perceptions. You don't perceive, what did you say? The one that I'm perceiving. You don't perceive a one. I don't know what you said, the one. You don't perceive the one. What do you mean by the one? You perceive a thought, a perception, or a sensation. There isn't the one.
I have another question.
Yes.
When you earlier were giving the example of like a mountain and a feather, like I'm perceiving it, so I'm not that. And then you were like giving that as an example to a sensation. And like the sensation feels really close. That's what makes it like.
Yes. Yes, a sensation has a longer stay than a perception or than a thought. Yes. But although it has a longer stay, a longer imprint, it doesn't change the fact that it is an appearance, that it is an object of perception. So when you come to the understanding that, yes, there are objects of perceptions that have a shorter stay and longer stay, like, for example, the butterfly, it has a short stay on the sunflower or on the flower where it's pollinating. The what's the name? The cardinal, it comes and lands on the branch. It has a longer stay than the butterfly on the flower. And then the leaf that is blown off the tree, it falls down on the grass, on the ground. It has even a longer stay on the ground before the next strong wind or the gardener comes and rakes it away. Yes, you are right. I am giving examples that are not about feelings. But I'm inviting you to consider that although certain appearances have longer stay, they are still equal. Now, what makes the stay unequal is when we don't want it, or when we have some engagement and when we are perceiving that there is something we need to correct, or we need to adjust, or we need to improve. Because there is something at stake. You see, when we perceive that, oh my God, this leaf that fell on the grass destroyed the view of my garden. You may having a nice lunch with friends, but you keep thinking, oh God, I hope this lunch finishes quickly so I can go rake that leaf. Spoiled my garden, you know, it made my garden so beautiful and green, and now you have this yellow leaf on it. So it is more how you are, how you meet the feeling that makes it the issue. It's not so much its staying power.
Thank you.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, well, very lovely to be with you all. Thank you, Holger, Amna, and Rose. Hello, Rose. Nice to see you and to be with you. Hello, Eden. Nice to see you, Eden. Richard, Esther, Esther, Marga, George, Shiva, George, and Holly, and Richard. Thank you all. Oh, I started the recording a little late today, so I'm sorry, I forgot to press recording. So, but after only a few minutes. Okay.
Thanks, Magdi.